Hello, my name is Yunsoo Choi, and I'm a veterinary medical student at Jeju National University. I'm here to present a video of a very interesting experiment that I have worked on for my URP. Have you ever wondered why your eyes move so much and are all over the place while we're engaged in the conversation? I was very curious if there was some kind of connection between the directions toward which our eyes move and what we are remembering about. William James, a father of American psychology, once said that some kind of eye movement accompanies thoughts. This video is for a study that looks at the relationship between eye patterns according to NLP, a neuro-linguistic programming. Basically, we examined if the eyes really do move according to what the person is thinking. So, what are these NLP eye accessing cues? People organize and process their experiences of the world using internal representational systems. According to the world of NLP, there are 4 personal representational systems: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and auditory digital. The diagram here shows which representational system is indicated by our eye movement. It was observed that during a conversation, the direction towards which our eyes move indicates what representational system we are thinking in. For this experiment, 27 undergrad students have participated. 21 participants were right-handed and 6 participants were left-handed. Participants were asked to enter a small interview room, one at a time, and be seated directly in front of the interviewer. Participants were then asked the following questions. This first question involves visual recall, and the eye pattern should be towards the top right. The second question involves visual construct, and the eye pattern should be towards the top left. The third question involves verbal recall, and the eye pattern should be towards the right. The fourth question involves auditory construct, and the eye pattern should be towards the left. The fifth question involves kinesthetic, and the eye pattern should be bottom left. The last question involves auditory digital, and the eye pattern should be bottom right. Let's have a look at a video of a right-handed participant having an interview. The interviewer is asking how many shoes there are in the participant's house. This is a question for a visual remembered. Notice her eyes moving towards the top right. She's recalling the memory of what kind of shoes were in her house, so she's seeing images from memory.
그거밖에 없어? 아 진짜? 그리고
The next question was similar, which was asking how many windows are in her house. Again, her eyes are moving toward the top right.
그다음에 지금 머릿속으로 9구단 3단을 외워봐. 3단? 빨리.
The next question is asking her to recall the timetable of 3 inside her head. This is a question for auditory digital, where eyes should be moving to the bottom right. You can notice her eyes moving from top right to the bottom right.
했어? 이제 내년에
His next question is what color will be her new car. Here, notice how she answered to his question right away without her eyes moving in any direction. This happens if the question is too obvious for her that she did not need to recall the image from her memory. Then he asked her how the car would be if it was in a different color. This is an image of made up or you have never seen before. Notice her eyes flicking across. She went to visual to see it, then she flicks across a couple few times and then constructed the image. The next question was to recall her mother's voice. Again, that memory was a readily accessible short-term memory that her eyes did not move in any direction. Then he asked to imagine her mother singing rock music.
어제 노래 엄청 높은 노래 막 이런 거 있잖아. 엄마가 막 부르시는 거.
Notice her eyes moving to the top right then to the top left. This tells that she was rather thinking of her mother singing rock music in image, not in sound. So she first visualized her mother's image, which can be observed by her eyes moving to the top right. Then her eyes went to the top left while she was imagining her singing rock music.
내 큰오빠가 서울 갔더니
Then he asked her to imagine her brother in her friend's voice.
계속 주저주저 2시간 동안 얘기를 하는 거 생각을 해봐.
Again, she's looking top right to visual her brother first. And she's looking to the center right to recall her brother's voice. However, she did not look to the center left to imagine her brother mimicking her friend's voice. In this experiment, the auditory construct was not very accurate.
그리고 아까 나한테 한 것처럼
The next question was asking her to imagine herself walking in wet socks.
양말 젖은 거를
This is a question about feeling or
젖은
touching.
양말이 마른 게 없어가지고 젖은 거를 신고 학교에 올 수밖에 없는 거야. 그 기숙사에 나와서
This is a question about feeling or touching, so her eyes would move to the bottom left, which is for the kinesthetic.
했어? 그리고 아까처럼
The last question was imagining herself walking on the shore with no shoes on.
걸어가는 거지. 맨발로.
Again, this is a question about feeling, and she's looking down and to the left.
외국 비치처럼 모래 까슬까슬한 모래가 아니라 약간 반은 질척질척한 약간 바닷물이 약간 머금어서
You can clearly see her eyes moving to the left bottom. After the interview, their eye movement directions were checked and a variable was created. If the eye movement is the same as the NLP, a score of 1 is given, and if not, a 0 score is given for that variable. It can be seen from this table that except for auditory construct, most of the respondents do exhibit the eye patterns posited by NLP. It was shown more than 75% of the sample of respondents exhibited the eye patterns posited by NLP for all representational systems except the auditory construct. The auditory construct system showed 59% of the accuracy during this experiment. Our findings suggest that NLP eye patterns as posited by the founders of NLP do apply to the majority of this sample of students. The only eye patterns that had the minority of the sample conforming to the NLP was the auditory construct, and that is still 59%. The results of the experiment thus give enough confidence to the followers of NLP regarding the proposition that global eye patterns exist. Having said that, there are some interesting findings of the study. First, when the answer to a question is too obvious and is in the person's readily accessible short-term memory, a person's eyes did not move in any direction. Second, left-handed people have these directions of eye movements completely reversed. So further interesting brain research could be performed for the future research. In conclusion, people's eyes look at a certain direction when they are attempting to recall information from memory and when they are trying to imagine something new. In this study, we examined if the eye movements reflect basic cognitive processes such as memory search. Observing the participants' eye movement, we noticed that the majority of the eye movement does move according to the NLP patterns when recalling or constructing memories.